Welcome back. We're talking about our functional relationships and determining whether or not something is a function or not. I have two data sets here that we're going to talk about. The first one is the number of chapters in a book and how many typos are in that book. And then this other data set here is temperature and based on the number of chirps of a cricket in 14 seconds. So let's take a look at this one first. So the chapters in a book. So one chapter produces two typos, two chapters, four typos, and three and five, and so on. So what I want to do is look at these inputs. Do all of these inputs produce a single output? Well, all of the inputs are different, right? I don't have any that are the same. So they would all produce a single output. So if I had another one over here that was like, well, one chapter produced six typos, then it would not be a function. But this is a function as it is right now. What I want to do also is to be able to kind of illustrate how you can look at a graph and determine whether or not it's a function. We're going to take this data and put it into Geogebra. So let's go ahead and open up Geogebra. Okay, so in Geogebra, you have something that looks like this, and you probably will start out with it looking something like that. So what you want to do is go to View and click on Spreadsheet, and that will bring up this spreadsheet view. If anything ever disappears and you need to get it back, you can always go to View. So if you need the algebra view or the graphics view or the input bar, if those are missing, they are all right here. Okay, so I'm going to put in the data that I was just talking about. So how about the number of chapters versus the number of typos? Now, the number that you put in, I'm just going to talk a little vocabulary here. The number that you put in and then you want to get out a single input, that's called, the input is called your independent variable. Independent. And if you need to make room for it, you can just hover your mouse over the corner there and drag. Okay, that's the independent, and then the dependent is the variable that depends on the input, right? So the independent variable, I had 1 through 9, so let me just put in a 1, and let me show you a shortcut of a way to make sequential numbers. Once you put in the first one, if you want to add 1 each time, you can hit the next cell, we call these cells, equals this cell, so the one above it, so I just click on it, and you see it puts an A2 in there, and A2 represents the name of this cell. It's A in the column and 2 in the row, and then I add 1, so plus 1. I hit enter, and it will add 1 to that. And then if I do that again, I can hover over this corner, and it will copy that formula into all of these cells that I just dragged it through. And if you double click, you can see that it says A3 plus 1. So it just copies. That's the nice thing about spreadsheets, is it will copy a formula for you all the way down. Oops, I'll cancel that. Enter. Yeah, there we go. It will copy a formula down for you through the whole column. Alright, so now dependent, the dependent variable was, let's see, I had number of typos was 2, 4, 5, 6. So I have to type all these in. 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8, 8, 10, 11, 12. 8, 8, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now all of these points I will be able to put on the graph. So I just hold down, I click and hold and drag over all those and select them, and then if I right click, I can choose this create list of points, and it will put the points on the graph for me. Now the way to get everything in the right view, I can use my scroll wheel to zoom out. And if you don't have a scroll wheel, well, once you click on the graphics view, you will have these tools come up and you can zoom in and out with these buttons. Is that it? Yeah. And then if I hold down the control button, I can move the graphics view and kind of center it. If you don't have a mouse, you can use this button. Okay, so is this a function? Well, let me use what's called the vertical line test. And the vertical line test, all it does is check each x value, or each independent variable value, does it give me a single output? And if the vertical line crosses 2 points, then it is not a function. So let me make a slider bar. This is a way to do it, and you click on slider and just click in there and have A is, and I want to go from my lowest independent variable, which is 1. I'll just start with 0 and go to 9, and I'll do an increment of 1. That just means how much does it change each time. So I apply. So I have this little slider bar, and it's going to change the value of A from 0 to 9. But I want to make a vertical line. So the way you make a vertical line is you say x equals some number, right? So if x is equal to 5, it would mean x is always 5 no matter what y is. And it will make a line that goes up and down. But I don't want 5. I want to be able to use all these different values. So I can say x is equal to A, and I hit enter, and it makes a vertical line going through x equals 1, right? And that's what A is currently. But if I change A, and I need to be on my move tool, if I change A, it will change the location of the line. So when x is equal to 5, I have a vertical line going through 5. When x is equal to 6, I have a vertical line going through 6. So that's how I can change my vertical line, just to kind of illustrate how you would think about checking, does the vertical line touch 2 points? And you can see that it never does touch 2 points. It only touches a single point at every single value. So this would be a function. Now, if I were to switch these inputs and outputs, so what if I, let's Control C, paste. So Control C to copy. So I selected them all, and I hit, I'll select all these, hit Control C, and then over here I hit Control V. Now I switched them, right? So now, if I put in the number of typos, can I get the number of chapters out? So let's see, let's right click and make a list of points. So now I have a new list of points, and let me get rid of all those other ones. So A through I. I'm just going to turn off all of these up to I. Okay, so they're all gone. Now you just click on the little dot to turn them off. Now, is this a function? If I put in the number of typos, you can see right here I hit 2 points at 8, right? If there were 8 typos, it could be a 5-chapter book or a 6-chapter book, so you don't know at that point, so it is not a functional relationship. Okay, so that's the first set. Now I'm just going to delete all these, and I'll keep my X and A going. Now let's try this relationship. So this is temperature to the chirps of a cricket in 14 seconds. Now the Farmer's Almanac says that if you count the number of chirps of a cricket in 14 seconds and add 40 to it, you can get a estimate of the temperature. So is that a functional relationship? So let's take these values. So I have 70, 68, 58, 69, 72, 58, 69, 72, 59, 68, and then I have 30, 27, 19, 29, 31, 20. Was it 31? What was it? 29, 31, 20. Oops, 31 and 28. Is that right? My memory's not very good. 29, 31. Yes. Okay. So create list of points here. It's off the screen for you, isn't it? Create points. Okay. So you don't see the points in there, but the way so it's all the way up at 70. So I need to zoom out. Okay, I just did the scroll wheel, but you can use the click on the graphics view and use those buttons. And then if I do control drag, I can move them into view. Alright, so all of these points, and the way you can actually adjust your bar, you can change the scale. You hold down the shift key and then click and drag on the bar, and see now it's going 50, 100 instead of what it was before. This is 510. So if I click or hold down shift and drag, I can compress it, and now zoom in, and it looks a little better. Okay, so now my slider bar does not go over far enough. So what I do is right click, click object properties, and I want my interval now to go from 58 to 72. Increment of 1. Okay. So now I just check, does it hit 2 points error? And it does right there at 68, doesn't it? And I can see that from the chart. 68 there and 68 there. 68 gives me 27 and 68 gives me 28. So it's not a function. So 68, if it was the temperature of 68, I would not know how many chirps to expect, right? If this was going to always be my data. But if I switch them, does that work? So Control C and Control C and Control V to paste. If I switch them, so it might make more sense to make the number of chirps your independent variable, because that's probably what you would hear in the field, is you would hear the number of chirps and then try to figure out what the temperature is. So let's turn these off. And let's create a list of points from these. And you can't see it, but you know how to do it by now. So now, where did it go? It's up here, right? Let's shift and drag. Alright, so this now is the temperature, 70 degrees, right? And this is the number of chirps. So again, I'll change my graph. So now it goes from, the minimum was 19 about, to the maximum of 31. Increment 1, okay. And now you can see that there is no place where the vertical line would touch two different points. So this is a function now, if you look at it in that sort of relationship. So on your activity, you're going to be making your own GeoGebra file and checking your vertical line test, and also determining if something is a function or not.